the News Center 6 team brings you all the excitement as the Ducks prepare to meet those number 2 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. Oh, baby, what a matchup. From the first practice to the post-game interviews and all the shenanigans in between, your best coverage of the Ducks and their run for the Rose Bowl glory is right here on KOIN TV's News Center 6.
You're watching KOIN TV, Channel 6. North Korea says one of the 2 pilots aboard a U.S. helicopter was killed when their craft went down. Former President Jimmy Carter arrives in Sarajevo on his latest peace mission. And Russian forces are advancing on breakaway Chechnya. This is the CBS Evening News. And this is John Roberts reporting. Good evening. The pilot of a U.S. Army helicopter that strayed into North Korea is dead. North Korean officials say Chief Warrant Officer David Heilman died when the aircraft went down. His co-pilot, Chief Warrant Officer Bobby Hall, is apparently uninjured. Our coverage begins with CBS News correspondent James Hattori in Seoul.
News of the fate of the 2 Army pilots was relayed through Congressman Bill Richardson, who went to Pyongyang for cordial talks, but who's suddenly become the Clinton administration's point man in North Korea. He's been told 29-year-old Chief Warrant Officer David Heilman of Clarksville, Tennessee, was killed when his helicopter went down. Chief Warrant Officer Bobby Hall of Brooksville, Florida, is alive and uninjured, though the North Koreans have refused to allow him to meet with the American delegation. Senator Paul Simon, who met with officials in Pyongyang last week, says the U.S. should not rush to judgment.
We have to be firm and tough, but we have to make sure that we don't escalate a situation.
They're going to say, you see, we can't trust these Americans, and we better be very tough in our handling of this.
North Korea claims it shot down the Army helicopter, an OH-58, similar to this one, when it strayed across the border yesterday morning. It went down in rugged, snow-covered terrain in the eastern part of the demilitarized zone. A news report out of Seoul says South Korean ground troops saw the chopper, but no sign that it had been attacked. And there's still no explanation why Heilman and Hall were so badly off course. U.S. military officials now say that while both men were very experienced helicopter pilots, they were not very familiar flying near the demilitarized zone. In fact, their unit has only been stationed in country a matter of weeks. Some who know the area believe snow may have obscured visual markers along the border.
Especially, pilot from the air, very hard to recognize which is which.
Now, U.S. officials will be looking for signs from the North Koreans of what it will take to resolve this incident. James Hattori, CBS News, Seoul.
News of Warrant Officer Heilman's death has turned up the heat on an already tense situation between the U.S. and North Korea. CBS News White House correspondent Bill Plant joins us now from Washington with administration reaction. Bill?
John, the word of Warrant Officer Heilman's death first came in the form of a written communique from the White House earlier today, a written statement by the president. This tragic loss of life was unnecessary, said Mr. Clinton, who said the Army helicopter strayed into North Korean airspace. The president is communicating with the North Koreans through New Mexico Congressman Bill Richardson, who is in the country to discuss the U.S.-North Korea nuclear agreement. Mr. Clinton said nothing about the incident in public. He attended church under much heavier than normal security following an incident yesterday in which at least 4 bullets were fired at the White House. Administration officials say they still do not know why the helicopter went down. Last night in St. Louis and again in a written statement today, Defense Secretary Perry said the Pentagon is still investigating.
The helicopter, let me stress, was on a routine training mission. It was not a spy mission. It was not a provocative mission. It was not armed.
At Fort Campbell, Kentucky, the focus was on one family's loss.
Mrs. Heilman knew that, as she spoke to me earlier, she said that she knew that he faced this risk, but she felt like he was doing something he really loved to do.
There was some concern here that the North Koreans turned down Congressman Richardson's request to see the survivor, Chief Warrant Officer Hall. The president has demanded the immediate return of Hall and the body of Heilman. John?
Bill, the White House has been very cautious in the language it's using in regard to this incident, saying that the downing of the helicopter does not necessarily mean it was shot down, yet North Korea seems to be quite direct in saying, yes, it was shot down.
Well, it's only 2 months since the U.S. and North Korea reached an agreement on a nuclear pact. The U.S. doesn't want to do anything to jeopardize that. They don't want to get the North Koreans upset. They're trying very hard to play this low-key. And the truth of the matter seems to be that they do not know exactly what happened or how the helicopter went down.
Bill Plant in Washington. Thanks. The Secret Service has confirmed that one of the bullets fired at the White House early yesterday went through the window of the state dining room. The bullet was found inside in the room directly below the president's bedroom. Investigators say they have few clues so far and no suspects. First, it was North Korea, then Haiti. Now, former President Jimmy Carter faces his toughest challenge as a peacemaker, Bosnia. CBS News correspondent Cindy Kennard reports, even for a person as well-heeled in diplomacy as Mr. Carter is, the task is daunting.
Former President Jimmy Carter landed in Sarajevo this afternoon under heavy security. He and his wife Rosalind arrived wearing flak jackets, removing them only when the UN said it was safe.
What I'd like to do, obviously, is to understand the situation and contribute to some alleviation of tension.
From the airport, he traveled through the city in an armored convoy through Sarajevo, where the Serbs had promised a ceasefire. But moments before he reached the notorious Sniper Alley, there was shooting. The motorcade had to be diverted, but apparently nobody told the former president.
Very hospitable reception that I've had from the people here.
Earlier in the day, Mr. Carter's mission got the blessing of Croatia's president, Franjo Tuđman, another player in this complicated conflict. Then he met with Bosnian leaders who have their own agenda for Mr. Carter's visit, hoping he will press the Serbs to accept the international peace plan already on the table.
He has come to mediate here that the plan be accepted by the Serbian side.
I think it would be better for me to speak for myself. And all that I want to say is that I come here to be constructive. I think the contact group plan is a basis for future progress.
That peace plan splits Bosnia roughly in half and requires that the Serbs give back at least part of the territory they've already won in the war. Everyone accepts that except for the Serbs, led by Radovan Karadzic, the man who invited Mr. Carter here. He'll meet with him tomorrow. The people in Sarajevo prayed for a breakthrough this Sunday. The cardinal spoke of unity, perhaps welcoming President Carter when he said, "What we need here now is good people with good hearts." Cindy Kennard, CBS News, Sarajevo.
At the Vatican today, Pope John Paul made an emotional plea for peace in Bosnia in the name of Christmas. The visibly angry Pope raised his voice to demand an end to the fighting in comments that departed from his written message in St. Peter's Square. Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, Russian forces step up the pressure on Chechnya, and a Christmas shopping ordeal for parents trying to find those elusive Power Rangers.
When he asked what she wore, it was always red d'or. So sensuous, so alluring, so inviting. Red d'or, the irresistible fragrance from Elizabeth Arden. Open it.
Something's been overlooked in the design of women's razors. The woman. Now there's a razor that adjusts to your legs and underarms, even bikini line. Norelco Silhouette, the first razor designed to shave a woman where a woman shaves.
Introducing a new green Listerine. New Fresh Burst Listerine. And it not only tastes great, it works great. It kills the germs that cause bad breath. It fights plaque above the gum line. It even fights the gum infection gingivitis. Now, can your mint mouthwash do all that? We don't think so. Get the new taste, new feeling, new sensation of new Fresh Burst Listerine. Finally, great microwave popcorn.
Power Pop.
Presto Power Pop Microwave Multi-Popper. Pops virtually every kernel. Pop with oil, pops without oil. Nothing pops like Power Pop.
And outside my name to that. Power Pop.
Here's a great big idea.
Salad shooter.
From Presto, professional salad shooter slicer shredder. Big capacity and power. Special blades to point and slice thick, slice thin, shred, even ripple cut. Right where you want.
Salad shooter.
From Presto.
There are signs tonight that fighting in the Russian breakaway Republic of Chechnya is intensifying. Russian tanks are said to have fired on a convoy of refugees, killing at least 9 people. And there are reports that Russian troops are moving on the capital of Chechnya against stiff resistance, and that Russian warplanes have bombed the center of the city. Jonathan Sanders has the story from the capital of Grozny.
In Chechnya, it looks like push is coming to shove. Reports out of the Chechen capital, Grozny, say the Russians have bombed the television tower while fierce fighting is raging on the outskirts of town. Chechen leader Dudayev has picked up Moscow's gauntlet, declaring war and promising to use ethnic Russians as human shield. While the politicians posture and send their men into battle, Chechen villages continue to burn. Yeltsin and Chechen leader Dudayev had been talking, not to each other, of course, but about how they should talk and where they should do it. Today, that all ended when the Kremlin decided enough was enough. Before tonight's attack, there was an eerie calm in the city. Chechen fighters were milling around the sandbag government building, while upstairs there was a last-ditch effort to try and stop the bloodshed. Members of Russia's parliament were amiably chatting with the Chechen leadership, trying in vain to avert an attack no one wanted. Just as the delegates were leaving, the vice president's men arrived with an earlier message from Moscow, the remains of a rocket the Russians had launched. We have only one defense we need against things like this, he says. We have Allah. The Chechens had been feeling they were on a roll, backed by their God and their guns. But tonight, the Russians are showing them not all prayers can be answered. With all this chaos in the capitals, the only thing to do now is stay tuned. Jonathan Sanders, CBS News, Grozny.
Back in this country, the week before Christmas travel crunch is gearing up, millions of Americans will be going home or going on vacation, many with new doubts about the airliners they'll be using. David Culhane has our report.
5 fatal crashes this year, and federal officials are definitely feeling defensive. They moved today to reassure holiday travelers that every step is being taken to put air safety before any demands for flight schedule convenience.
When I announce the reorganization of the department tomorrow, there will clearly be a higher emphasis on safety. And we're going to do it in a way that safety actually plays a much more important and more visible role in the department.
Critics have charged that the Federal Aviation Administration has been too slow in upgrading safety regulations, especially for small commuter aircraft.
Some of the criticisms of the FAA about being too slow are valid. Again, one of the things that I'm trying to do for the Secretary and for the President is to make sure we stop that process to the degree that exists.
Uneasiness among passengers seems to have increased after the FAA grounded certain types of small commuter aircraft this month. But today, officials maintain they are about as safe as large jets.
We started 2 years ago to elevate the standards for commuter airlines to the same level as the large commercial airlines.
Passengers heading into the heaviest travel season of the year are worried, but still determined to fly.
People need more confidence back in especially in the commuter airlines.
I figure when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. So, you know, I'll take the chance.
But with train and bus service being cut back around the country, travelers are left with fewer and fewer choices. David Culhane, CBS News, New York.
The U.S. Postal Service is bracing for the Christmas deluge tomorrow, the busiest day of the postal calendar. It predicts Americans will mail 250 million letters and cards after spending the weekend writing and addressing and licking stamps.
Discover something new for regularity, always made with the highest quality natural fiber. Metamucil, now at a surprisingly lower price.
I didn't think they could make Metamucil better, but they did.
Metamucil, the natural choice for regularity.
You ready? Yes. Tell me what you smell. I have no idea. You're really stuffed. Yes. I have a nasal spray I want to give you.
Now what do you smell?
That's an orange.
You got it. Curious about the product?
Dristan.
Dristan 12-hour nasal spray.
Man, I can breathe.
I'm sorry, you have the wrong department. Human resources. Oh, hi, Linda. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm from Radio Shack. Busy?
Ha.
Just one question.
Shoot.
Would you rather run all over for holiday gifts, then go get boxes, then get wrapping paper, then ribbon, then cards, then get stamps, then stand in line?
Or
come in for gifts at Radio Shack Gift Express and get them wrapped, packed with a card, and delivered by FedEx delivery service.
So what's the question?
1,200 gifts the easy way from Radio Shack Gift Express.
All right, let's top it off here.
The coffee perking in this pot is America's best-loved coffee.
Just as long as fathers dance with daughters. As long as there are welcome mats. And childhood sweethearts. Just as long as families come together, Maxwell House will always be good to the last drop.
This dentist had his pocket picked recently, picked right out of thin air. Sound crazy? Watch this.
Just bang, 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 one after another. And these people out here in their cars have no idea.
It's high-tech theft, and you won't believe how much it's costing. Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
A new welfare study finds job training programs are not reaching the recipients they would help the most, single teenage mothers. The General Accounting Office finds that only 11% of single parents on welfare are participating in a federal training program aimed at reducing welfare dependency. President Clinton is calling for a national conference on welfare reform next month. But many states aren't waiting for the federal government to act. They're already trying out reforms of their own. And that's tonight's Sunday Cover, a workfare program in a suburban New York county that could become a model of its kind.
Frankie Lugo works in maintenance at the YWCA in Yonkers, New York. For the last 3 months, he's been learning the tools of the trade from supervisor Buddy Baker. Frankie is on public assistance, but he's working for it.
If I don't work, I'm not working, you know. I'm going to be on the street, do nothing. Right here, I'll be happy, making new friends, you know. I'm glad I'm working.
Frankie is part of a workfare program set up 5 years ago in Westchester County. Single, childless people receiving home relief or state welfare have to work for it in public buildings, parks, doing general labor. Otherwise, they lose their benefits. It's called Pride in Work. The county executive calls it a success.
In Westchester, if you want to be on home relief, we say turn up and work. And if you don't work 20 hours a week, we throw you off welfare. And that has worked. It's saved the people of this county about $40 million over the last 5 years.
About 800 of the 6,400 single adults on welfare in Westchester are working for their average monthly benefit of $465 plus Medicaid. The rest are exempt due to temporary illness, disability, or because they're in a substance abuse treatment program. One key to the success of the Westchester program has been its strict monitoring system. Caseworkers visit clients' homes to determine their ongoing eligibility.
Who do you live here with?
If they are not in compliance with the rules, they are dropped from the rolls.
We've closed over 15,000 cases in the last 5 years. 60% of the cases that we closed never returned to us. We think that's an accomplishment.
The program is an obvious benefit to the county, but advocates for the poor say the goal of the program is more political than remedial.
If they really want to get people off public assistance, they should get these single individuals involved in some serious job training programs where they can become self-sufficient and get off public assistance.
The commissioner says that because this population of single adults is very transient, investment in job training would not be cost-effective. Still, she suggests recipients do benefit from the work experience.
It does encourage them to turn up on time, to get along with their supervisor, to take direction. All of those are important skills when you're looking for a job.
At least some, like Clark Yates, who works in maintenance at this public housing project, would agree.
It keeps me thinking positive, you know, about maybe, getting a full-time job. And then it don't let me get relaxed, you know. It's kind of like a booster for me.
Experts question whether the Westchester workfare model can be duplicated in neighboring New York City or other big urban areas, which have more bureaucracy and much bigger caseloads.
Forget the way you've been brushing your teeth. And remember Interplaque, the power plaque remover with twisting bristles, clinically proven to clean better than manual brushing and help prevent gum disease. Interplaque from Bausch & Lomb.
These vegetables are about to be perfectly steamed, like food has never been steamed before, in the Black & Decker Handy Steamer. Because deliciously steamed food requires perfect timing.
Is someone special expecting something special from you? Don't disappoint them. Send it express mail. Overnight delivery starting at just $9.95. Even on Christmas Day. Express mail from your post office.
It's never fun to eat and run, to rush and eat too fast, 'cause you know it's gonna catch up with you at last.
For acid indigestion or heartburn with headache, nothing's faster than Alka-Seltzer.
Get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
How much closer are our precision heads? Our innovative lift and cut system? How much better is the latest Norelco? In a word, we've never brought you closer. The Norelco Razor, our closest shave ever.
One of O.J. Simpson's lawyers says a hearing on the admissibility of DNA evidence would be, quote, a needless waste of scarce resources. A sign Simpson may be low on cash. Judge Lancito is expected to rule tomorrow on the DNA issue and on whether jailhouse comments Simpson made to friend and Minister Rosie Greer will be kept confidential. Last week, President Clinton went on television to propose tax cuts for the middle class. Commentator Joe Klein here now with some thoughts on where it all might lead. Joe?
Bill Clinton tried to save his presidency this week by offering us money.
Now I want to cut taxes for each child under 13, phased up to $500 per child.
That was thoughtful of him, but not very unique. Politicians raise taxes, then lower taxes, then raise them again. What was unique was the part of the speech he didn't emphasize, how he's going to pay for it.
We can sell off entire operations the government no longer needs to run and turn dozens of programs over to states and communities that know best how to solve their own problems.
Now that is something new. Power's been flowing to Washington for nearly 60 years, since Franklin Roosevelt began the New Deal. World War II, the Cold War, and Lyndon Johnson's Great Society only intensified the process. But a new era began with the Republican victory in the elections this fall. The federal government is about to be dismantled. The departments of energy, housing, transportation, commerce, and perhaps education will be depopulated. There's a word for this, a word you're going to be hearing a lot over the next few years: devolution. It means removing federal regulations on programs like welfare and public housing. It means sending the money and authority to run these programs back to the states and cities.
But we have to work with the mayors, the county commissioners, and the other local government groups if we want to get this job done.
The theory is governors and mayors are closer to the problems than Washington is. The government that is closest to home governs best, and there may be something to that. But what are we going to do when we don't have Washington to kick around anymore?
Joe Klein, thanks. There's some cuts of another kind going on. Jennings Osborne of Little Rock, Arkansas, has switched on the most disputed Christmas lights in the land. But in compliance with the state Supreme Court ruling, only some of his 3 million lights are twinkling after neighbors complained about crowds of sightseers. An appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court is in the works.
What do people think of these Sunsweet orange and lemon essence pitted prunes?
I love lemons. So they smell like oranges. I like these a lot. Orange essence excites me.
Lemon flavored prunes?
They're wonderful. These are really good. What did Barbara Mandrell think?
Actually, I love them both.
Everybody needs some money sometimes.
When you need money fast.
Hello, Dad?
Count on Western Union. We send more money to more people around the world than anyone else. Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
Hi. Thought you might like a little help. Thanks. My hands. Should I get your Advil? I'm trying that new naproxen sodium. But this has special dosing restrictions for people your age. Your Advil doesn't. I'm older, 66. And what if you take this and your pain comes back? Oh. You may be in pain for hours before you can take more. Doesn't your doctor recommend Advil for you? You're right. I'll stick with Advil.
Nothing is proven more effective or longer lasting than Advil. Nothing.
So at Jenny's school play, I get this cough. Somebody handed me these Robitussin cough drops. They worked right away, and I could feel those vapors. Robitussin took the spotlight off me and put it where it belonged.
Robitussin cough drops from the cough experts.
These have always brought me luck.
White Diamonds, the intriguing fragrance from Elizabeth Taylor. This holiday collection, a $170 value, just $27.50 at fine stores.
It was a taxpayer's dream today for a Georgia accountant. Doug Sarrett won a contest for the right to flip a switch and blow up Atlanta's old IRS building. The lapse required 375 pounds of explosives, generating a blast big enough to satisfy any disgruntled taxpayer. The building was destroyed to make way for a hotel expansion. It seems only yesterday brave parents were rushing to find Barney toys or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This Christmas, there's a different kids' craze, and it's destroying the competition. Reed Galen reports.
We wonder sometimes why our kids act the way they do. But this is no mystery. If you don't know about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by now, you're totally out of touch with our youngest generation.
They're cool.
They are memorizing episodes of the TV show that started in Japan. They're dragging parents to live Mighty Morphin Power Ranger performances.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have the product.
And parents are wondering, while standing in toy store lines this Christmas, how these teenage action characters have become so much a part of their lives.
I have a 5-year-old daughter who is a total addict, has to have the little dolls, and I'm not quite understanding it.
Well, I really think the appeal has to do with the transforming power. And, you know, that idea that children who watch it are able to transform themselves.
One of each item per person.
Stores ran out last Christmas.
We have all the 5 new Zords in stock.
6 new manufacturing plants were built in Mexico and Asia. Newer items are still scarce.
Mighty Morphin mania seems to be highly contagious. As far as I know, my 2.5-year-old has never seen the program, but she knows about them. That puts a certain subtle pressure on her parents to join the buying frenzy that so far this year has resulted in almost $1 billion worth of sales.
Even in their best years, Cabbage Patch Dolls and Ninja Turtles sold half as much.
It is so much easier for kids to relate to a live person than a cartoon character.
There are girl Power Rangers, too. Action hero marketing doesn't usually cross gender like this. There are some concerns about violence.
Because it teaches kids how to fight.
But parents seem to accept the general theme that good triumphs over evil. Savvy marketers know there is no explaining a phenomenon. Parents know that, too.
Power Ranger!
Reed Galen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And that's the news. Stay tuned for 60 Minutes. I'm John Roberts in New York. Good night.